Hello, friends. Welcome. I'm Heidi with Onigo Stamping, and I am excited that you are joining me tonight because I'm going to do one of my favorite things, and that is doing quick and easy watercolor techniques, or you might even call them faux watercolor techniques because they're so simple to do. So we're going to do that tonight, and we're using one of my favorite new stamp sets. I just got this set, and I just pulled it off my shelf, and started using it, and I am loving it already. So if you are joining me live, go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know that you are watching live. Let me know where you're watching from. If you are joining the replay, welcome to you as well. I'm excited that you are watching the replay. Either way, if this is your first time joining me, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you make sure you always know when I am going live or when I post a new video. Hello, Vicki. Welcome. So glad you are here. All right, I'm going to switch my cameras up just a little bit. We're going to take a look at the stamp set. So here is the stamp set, the Yeti to Party stamps. Oh! These just jumped out at me immediately from the July to December mini catalog. I just think they are adorable. I love the Yeti, and I always love stamp sets that have lots and lots of different parts and pieces in them. And this one you can see we have a heart, and we have some snowflakes and some presents and an ice cream cone and maybe some hot chocolate or coffee and a little tree. There's a little bird. There are some mountains right here. There is this thing right here. I think this could be a number of things. I was trying it on the Yeti. Of course, the Yeti. I was trying it on the Yeti. It could be a tiara or a necklace. It could be, like, not bunting, but like the things for putting up for somebody's party. So many things that this little stamp could be. It's exciting. So, hello, Karen. Welcome. Woohoo! It is finally Friday. Yeah, I don't know. My voice is weird tonight. I was fine earlier, and then I just got on, and I'm like, All right, a little drink of LaCroix, and then we will move on. So I'm excited about this stamp set, and I'm excited to share with you tonight's technique. The other thing that I'm going to be using is the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. Now, the technique I'm going to share with you, you can do it on just basic white or very vanilla cardstock, and I've done that in the past. But it really does look a lot nicer. It just kind of works better if you use the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. So that is what I am doing. When I'm using the Fluid 100, people always ask about sizes and stuff. I will let you in on a little secret. This is 5x7 paper. So I always cut it down to at least 3.5. So I just use half the sheet. So I always cut it down to at least 3.5 by 4 3/4. Tonight I'm going to do something a little bit different, but that is, you can see I got a half sheet in there already waiting for me. So, all right, I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to flip the cameras around even more so that we can get stamping. I'm just fine. I sound okay. That's good. It just feels a little weird. All right, so I have a piece of Fluid 100 watercolor paper, and I have my great big block. This is a E block. Did you guys know that the letters for the blocks are on the sides? I have to look at that all the time, especially when I decide I want to get an extra block. Because I'm like, oh, I want another block, and then I don't know what size to get. So it's really helpful to know that those letters are on there because I always have to look it up all the time. All right, so I'm going to grab some fresh Freesia ink and some Pool Party ink, and I'm going to ink this up, just inking it right onto my clear block. The ink's going straight on the clear box. It's your Friday evening voice. Maybe that's it. Yeah, it might be. All right, and now I have some Pool Party. I'm going to do the same thing right over on the other side. Go. Nice and inky. Inky. Now, I have a Stampin Spritzer. These come in a 3-pack for like $3. Super cheap. If you don't have any, throw some on your next order because you're going to want them. They're good for so many things. You guys have seen me. I color paper with them and all sorts of stuff. Tonight, I'm just using one that has water in it. I usually keep at least one that has water and one that has alcohol, and the other one like changes color and stuff. So, all right. And I'm just going to spritz this, give it a few sprays. You want to get it pretty wet, and you can see that ink start to kind of run a little bit, and that's good. We want that. We want it to run a little bit. You don't want to get it too wet, but on the other hand, you do want it to be wet. I'm just going to give it just a little bit more. And then this, I'm going to take, and I'm just going to put it right on my paper. Hopefully I can get it lined up without looking at the top. And I'm just going to set that down. And I'm just kind of smushing this a little bit just to make sure, the butter is all really getting on there. You can see the white spots, that's where it's still dry. And the ink probably isn't going to go there even if there's extra on my paper. So you can just pick it up, and then, if you want to, you can set it back down and that ink will run a little bit more. So here you can see it maybe had a little bit too much water, but that's okay. We're just going to take this, and I'm just going to tilt my paper and let this run. So I can let it run off the side if you want, and just have it go away. It did get kind of gray colored because the blue and the pink mix together, but I like it when it mixes up and gives kind of a different look. So, all right. So there we go. I need to get some tissues or something. So I'm just using a cotton ball that happens to be laying on my desk. Just gonna grab some of that extra water. Isn't that pretty? If you want to, Sonia, welcome. Thank you for sharing. All right, if you want to, you can take your heat tool and just give that a little bit of heat if you want to dry it all the way. Sometimes it's kind of fun just to leave it a little bit wet, because when it's wet and you stamp on it, then the images are going to get a little blurry, which in this case I really like. I have the snowflakes on my stamp here, and I am just stamping with some Coastal Cabana, and you can see where it's really wet. They're going to get all kind of like, what do I want to say? Bleeding, like the sides are all bleeding out. They're going to get really mushy. So if you don't want a mushy look, you'll probably want to wait till this is dry, or heat it with your heat tool. I kind of like a little bit of that mush. I think it adds a little something to this. So I'm going to let it go. I might come back though. I might decide that's a little too wet and come back with a later color and do it again. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm just stamping all over this. I'm deciding where to go. All right, and that was with the Coastal Cabana. So now I'm going to grab some fresh freesia, and I'm going to stamp the other snowflake with a little bit of fresh freesia. And I'm stamping this usually at least twice every time, just to give different levels of color on there. So just trying to make a really, pretty snowflake background. All right, so there's the fresh freesia. I'm going to zap this just a little bit with my heat tool. It feels a little bit too wet up here, and I want to get some that look really crisp, or at least crisper. So I just dried that up just a little bit with my heat tool. And now I want to grab some gorgeous grape. We're going to do some darker purple on here. I'm not even cleaning my fresh freesia one because I'm just switching to a different color purple. Not worried. We're just going to add some gorgeous grape. Again, stamping all over, stamping twice each time at least. And there we just have a really pretty snowflake background. Yay! Now, to give it even a little bit more, because I like things a little bit extra, right? I'm taking my Wink of Stella. You guys, I hope you have seen the Wink of Stella marker before. I love this. It is a glitter marker. It's not messy. The glitter's not going to come off on things. It just gives everything a little bit of sparkle. Now, it does have like liquid inside there, so I can squish it down. It's kind of like the water painters. I can squish it down into the brush tip. Don't do it over your project, though. I did that yesterday, and then you end up with a giant floof, a giant dot, giant puddle. So I'm just pushing just a little bit down. I'm going to try that. And I'm just going to take this and I put it in my cap. And I'm just flicking it over my surface here. And this is just putting little tiny drops of glitter, silvery glitter on here. It's so pretty. I bet this isn't going to show through very well. That's why you have to get one of these pens yourself so you can try it. Literally, like, oh, the first time I used this, I was just like, oh, I love it. And then, you know, I go for a time and I forget how much I love the Wink of Stella and I don't put it on things. So I just added that and it just adds, yeah, it's really not showing up in there, but it just adds a little bit of sparkle in the background. Hello, Kathy. Thank you, Sonia. I'm so glad that you love that background. So I'm going to set that aside and work on some of the other pieces because we need a Yeti. And I'm just going to let that kind of dry the rest of the way. Now, I do need to clean off my block because this is the block I need to put my Yeti stamp on. So I'm just going to wipe this off. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard, but coming in September, there are going to be dies to go with the stamp set, which is amazing. I'm really excited. I can pre-order those as a demonstrator. I can pre-order those right now. I haven't yet, though. But if you want to get those dies and you don't want to wait, because I can understand not wanting to wait for them, you can actually join Stampin' Up, join the Oni Go Stamping team, get a fabulous deal on a starter kit, and you can put those dies on in your starter kit. There's some other dies too. They'll be in my newsletter again tomorrow. If you don't already get my newsletter, make sure that you sign up for that. You can sign up for that over on my website because that is where you get, you make sure that you're really staying on top of everything that is going on. So that just usually comes out once a week. There's all the specials and my classes, and I send out a tutorial every week. So, all right, so I just stamped my Yeti. I'm going to go ahead and stamp some mountains too. There's two different sizes of mountains. And I am stamping these in Memento because I'm going to do some coloring with some Stampin' Blends. So, let me see. I remember kind of how I did this. I'm just going to stamp some mountains on here. Kind of all the way across. This is just 5.5 inches wide. We'll probably cut it down a little bit, but to start with, this is good. All right, we're going to go ahead and mask off. You're very welcome, Karen. I'm going to go ahead and just mask off some of this. Ooh, look, I already got ink on it. Of course I did. Just going to mask off part of the mountains so that I can get some other mountains in here. So, all right, we're going to come in, and I'm not even cutting these masks. I'm just using some sticky notes because the lines are pretty straight, at least the part that I need to cover up. So, easy masking. I'm just making some mountains for my Yeti to hang out in. Let's see. I kind of want a big, tall mountain, but that's too tall. Try to figure out what I'm doing here. There, how's that? Oh, that's good. All right. Except for my little splotch, but we will probably cut that off in just a minute. So go ahead and leave that there. All right, and now I'm going to come in with my Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to use some gray granite. Like this whole card tonight is just going to use gray granite, basically. So I'm just using the light, and I need to get some new gray granite. I feel like every time I am stamping with you all, I am saying I need to get a new blend of XYZ. I think it's just that time. All my blends are starting to wear out. So then I'm coming in with the darker gray granite and just, adding a little bit more dark color. I'm going to come back with the light and just color this in. Really like the brush tip. Oh, there we go. So hopefully I can get through this whole card and my gray granite Stampin' Blends don't give up. So just coming back and coloring over all of those parts and getting it really to blend in. So, all right, let's do the rest of these mountains. There's a lot of mountains to color. I might have stamped too many mountains, especially with this gray. It is just, it's dying on me, folks. It's just gonna give out. All right. You might have to end up having a brown Yeti instead of a gray Yeti. Again, I'm just going to switch to some dark. I'll probably add more dark on these back ones just because they're back further. Come back in with that light, color over it again. So hopefully y'all aren't getting too bored as I color here. The other really cool thing about this Yeti stamp, well, I don't know if it's cool about the stamp, but coming up, so in November, this is going to be the featured stamp set for my online card class in November. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait that long because stamp set is just too much fun. But anyway, that's going to come up in November. I'll have more information about that coming this fall. That, of course, has not yet, that's a ways down the line. Right now, registration is still open for my August class using the Simply Fabulous stamp set, which is absolutely simply fabulous. And it's also open for my September class, where we're going to be using the Fond of Autumn stamp set, which I'm excited. That's coming in my mailbox tomorrow. I'm kind of looking forward to playing with it. And then I also have another online exclusive class coming up in September, in the middle of September. And for that class, I'm going to be using the Celebrate with Tags stamp set and dies. So the regular online card classes usually just use a stamp set. The exclusive classes use the stamp set and the dies. And with the exclusive, they're exclusive because the cards that we do during the online exclusive class, I'm saying exclusive a lot, but those cards, I don't share them anywhere on social media. So you are not going to see them on my Instagram. You're not going to see them on my Facebook page. You're not going to see them on Pinterest. I don't share them anywhere. They are exclusive to the class. So if you are wanting to see some exclusive designs, you will definitely want to register for the Celebrate with Tags class coming up in the middle of September. It's going to be on a Saturday morning, that one. Now, that is done as a private Facebook Live, or not Facebook Live, but a private YouTube Live. I'll send you out the link, and you can watch it. So you can join me live, so you can ask questions and chit chat with me if you want. If you can't make it that day, you can always watch the replay. It'll be available anytime after the class. So, all right, coloring away. The coloring always takes so long. That's why, usually I don't do this much coloring in a video because I feel like, I hope you aren't getting bored. I feel like maybe this is boring to sit here and watch me color. So I'm trying to go quick. And this really is very, very easy coloring because these mountains are so big and open. It's a great stamp set. This would be a really fun stamp set to make coloring cards You know, if you were sending a card to a kid and you wanted them to have an activity, you could not color it yourself and just send it in black and white, and then they could color it. Would be an awesome idea. I think they'd love that. So, all right. Coloring in the mountains. One more mountain to go. This one will probably get cut off. Watch, I'll color it and then we'll end up not using it. All right, next order, gray granite. Stampin' Blends. Big time. All right. The dark one is fine. It's just the light that is that's nearly out. I should check and make sure I don't have a light one. Sometimes, you know, they come in 2 packs. And so I usually just take out the one that I need out of the pack, and then I put the other away. And sometimes I forget I've done that. So I should double check that I don't have a light gray granite one in my stash someplace. Oh, I'm teaching you some coloring techniques. That's awesome. I should talk more about what I'm doing, right? So, all right, there's my mountains. I am going to come in here with some light Pool Party, and I'm just going to go over the bottom of the snow just to kind of add a little bit of a blue shadow in there. And this will fade out even a little bit more as it dries. So just very quick and easy, going over the bottoms of those. And then, because I love Wink of Stella, I'm coming back with my Wink of Stella marker. And I'm just going to go over the bottoms too and add a little on the top. I'm not doing all of it, but I could. That'd be pretty. So just add in a little sparkle. And I wish you guys could see the sparkle. I don't think it shows up. Maybe. So you're like, why are you even doing it if it doesn't show up? Because it's awesome. Look, see, I got a big bubble. I got a big bubble. It's okay. I'm just going to take another one of these cotton balls that are randomly on my desk and just kind of soak up some of the extra. So that one gets super glitter. There we go. All right, now come over here, Mr. Yeti. I'm going to come back in with my light gray granite again, and now I'm just coloring around the edges. And I'm using the bullet tip, so I have a little bit more control on it. Plus, sometimes when your Stampin' Blends are running out, you can use the bullet tip longer than the brush tip. So even when it's kind of worn out, the bullet tip sometimes is still working. So that's why I switched here, and just adding some shadows in around the outside of my Yeti. Like, well, not the outside of the Yeti, inside Yeti on the edges. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just adding some light gray granite. I'm going to add a little bit more here under the arm because that seems like a pretty dark spot, right? Now we're going to do here and a little bit here too. And we're going to come around this side and come into the arm and over the top of his head. And then I'm going to color his whole face just because I wanted to get a little bit of color variation here. I'm going to color his whole face this light gray granite. There we go. Now I'm going to grab my color lifter, and I'm just going to go over that light gray granite that I put on the outside. I'm going to go over it all again with the color lifter. And this is just going to fade it out even a little bit more because I like a white Yeti, at least for this one. We're going to think of this one as the abominable snowman, right? So I'm just going to blend out that light gray granite just a little bit more with the color lifter. Not going to worry about his face though. We'll just leave his face like that. And actually, I think I'll come in with the dark, and I'm just going to kind of add a little bit of shadow in here with the dark. a little bit more. And then I want to color his horns dark. Those are getting dark gray granite. We'll let that just dry a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more on the stripes in just a second. I'm going back over this with my light just to fade out the dark a little bit. So now I can come back in with the dark, and there's stripes on his horns, and I'm going to do like every other one. I'm going to color back over it with the dark, and it just adds a little bit of difference. Not very much though. All right, there is my coloring. Oh, they're so cute. So now, because I don't have those dies yet, which is fine. This is easy. This is easy fussy cutting. I'm going to cut out my mountains. I'm going to cut this. Sometimes when you're fussy cutting, it's easier just to kind of, cut it free and then do the fussy cutting. So we'll just cut around my mountains. And I'm not doing a very good job. I'm going really fast. And now, did y'all watch The Price is Right? Maybe when you were younger. I remember watching The Price is Right, like when I would be home in the summer or home when I was sick. And my favorite game was always the mountain climber one. And as I am sitting here cutting these mountains, I'm thinking about, because the best part of the mountain climber was when he would fall off the edge. So I just got the image of my scissors being that mountain climber falling off the edge of the mountains. Oh my goodness, the weird things that come to my head. All right, there's my mountains. I'm gonna come back in and do my Yeti too. And again, I'm not cutting too close. Just gonna cut around him. He's so cute. I just want to give him a big hug. A big fuzzy hug. He reminds me of like the Where the Wild Things Are animals almost. Or maybe a giant Muppet. Maybe Sweetums or something. Oh, you could turn him into Sweetums. That would be fun too. Yeah, I'm just going off on all sorts of tangents while I sit here and do this cutting. So, and of course, I have 2 more cards to share with you too. I'm not going to make them, obviously. We'd be here forever. But I'll show you the samples. So when we get done with this card, you won't want to miss those. They're cute too. And I even did one. I made a card without a Yeti because I think this stamp set is versatile. And versatile stamp sets are my favorites. All right. Cutting out all this stuff. We are almost done. I'm going to start putting this card together. All right. There we go. I got a little bit close on his foot, but that's okay. So there's my Yeti. The Yeti on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It does, doesn't it? I have a little bit extra white than what I want on the end on the bottom of my mountains. So I'm just going to come in, plus like maybe cut off this little blip I got there. We'll see. And just cut off. Oh, I maybe cut a little bit too much now. Story of my life. Because I did want to leave a little bit of white there, but whatevs. Whatevs. All right. Now I have this piece. This is 3.5 by 4 1/4. And I'm going to adhere it to a piece of Coastal Cabana that is 3 5/8 by 4 1/4. So this is just going to go right on here. So pretty. At least I think it's pretty. I don't know what y'all think. But, all right. And then we're going to put the mountain. See, I told you that last mountain, I knew I'd end up just cutting it off. So, all right. But I'm not going to do that yet. Well, yeah, I am. So we're going to adhere these mountains down. I want to put these on with some Stampin' Dimensionals because I love dimensionals. So, and of course, my sister would probably be yelling at me for the large number of dimensionals I'm going to put on here, but I don't care. So she's the oldest. She thinks she can yell at me for things, but whatever. I can do what I want. All right, so I just put some dimensionals on there. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool and pop these dimensionals off. Whoops, getting too many. I'm just taking them over and popping those in the trash. This helps keep track of them because, you know, dimensionals go everywhere. Not that sister, right? That's right, Kathy. Dimensionals go everywhere, like all over my house. So I just like to, I put them on there and then pop them right in the trash. And then they don't, you know, wander around my house. All right. So now I want to come in. I'm going to come in with my scissors and just trim off the edges. So I'm just lining up the Coastal Cabana on the edge of my scissor and just cutting that right off. Goodbye, little mountain. Maybe we'll save you for another project. We'll come in and do the same thing on the other side. There's my mountains. Woo-wee. And then, let me see. I have a piece of Coastal Cabana. Not Coastal Cabana. Crafty girls do what you want. Very true. I have a piece of fresh freesia. Somewhere I have a bone folder. Here we go. So I'm just going to fold my fresh freesia in half. Now I do want to come in. I almost forgot. I want to do a little bit of stamping on this just because, I don't know, it seems a little bland when I put it together. I needed something back there. So I just have my fresh freesia here. I'm going to come in with some fresh freesia ink. And I'm going to stamp some fresh freesia snowflakes right up there, and then again down here. Just to kind of give a little bit of interest in the background on this card. So now we can put this right over the top here. Putting this on with just a little bit of green glue. There we go. So much fun. Oh, I wish you could see the sparkle on this. It's sparkling. All right, and then we're going to put my Yeti. My Yeti is going to come in right here, I think. Those mountains aren't quite as high as I would have liked, but it's okay. I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on his feet because they're going to hang over. And then we'll put some just regular adhesive, some green glue on the top of him. All right. So that way, his feet are going to stick to something. There we go. So there's our little Yeti on there. Now, let's put a sentiment on here. I have a little banner that I cut with the Stylish Shapes dies. And I have the sentiment that says, is it Christmas, Yeti? Is it Christmas, Yeti? Ah. All right. And I'm going to stamp this with some Coastal Cabana right on this little banner. Oh, is it Christmas, Yeti? Now, I don't have the Fresh Freesia Stampin' Blend, so I'm just going to grab my light Highland Heather Stampin' Blend. And I decided, you know what? This has little... That was not what I used when I did this. Oops. I used my Stampin' Right marker. I was like, whoa, that was way too thick. So don't do that. I use my Stampin' Right marker, and I just came in and I'm running it along those dots to make it look like it has stitching on it. I'll show you my sample that looks a lot better than this. I'm not going to adhere this because I think I need to redo this. So, but anyway, just adding that so it looks like I actually stitched around the edge. And then I'm adding we'll add some silver trim under there. Where is my silver trim? Come here. It went on holiday. Well, maybe I won't. Oh, there it is. So this is the Simply Elegant trim. You guys have seen me do this, but I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. I'm going to get enough to make a bow. Do I want a bow? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to cut it. And then I like to pull the center out of here. So first I'm going to run my fingernail over my finger and just kind of straighten it out a little bit. And then there is this thread inside there, if you can see that. There's a thread inside there. It makes this cord really kind of thick and stiff. So I like to take it out. I also like to take out at least one piece of the silver twine. So that just comes out. And this is just to make it a little less stiff, a little easier to tie in a bow, less bulky on your page or on your card. Just all sorts of reasons. And I did a really bad job. Let's do that again, shall we? All right. Y'all, I cannot tie tonight. This is funny. Oh my. I'm pulling the wrong parts. It must be Friday. This is why I don't normally go live on Friday, because I have issues. All right. So there is my silver bow. Let's trim that edge. And I'll just put this on with a little, what do I want to say, a mini glue dot. So the little dots are on there, right? And you just put the center of your bow down in the middle of it and then pull the dot off with it. And then this, I'm just going to stick on here, and I'm actually putting it on the fresh freesia. That way that knot isn't on the part that has the dimensional, so it's not going to stick up anymore. Now, if this was not so poorly done, I would adhere that over the top, and that would be what it looks like. Let me show you. Let me show you the sample where I already finished it. So there's my sample card. You can see I frayed out the edges of that silver ribbon, but isn't that fun? Oh, so cute. So let me show you my other cards. Now, I have a birthday card because there is a birthday sentiment in here. It says, "Get Yeti to party, it's your birthday," which I think this is so much fun. Now you can see here I got a lot of the white in there, and that is where I didn't quite spritz my black quite enough, and so it didn't run into those spots. But that one is super fun too, really easy. And then I was like, you know what? I want to make one without a Yeti. So this one is without a Yeti. I used more of the squarish block. It's not quite square. This is a D block, and I used that one to do my background. And I stamped the snowflakes just like I did on the other one. I didn't add the gorgeous grape ones though, because I wanted it a little bit lighter. And then I added one of these wonderful snowflakes on here, and these snowflakes are so cool. They come in a package. Like there's 6 on a sheet here, and there's 24 in this whole package, and they just pop out, and they're like iridescent. Can you see that? Woo! So it has this funny iridescent snowflake in the middle, in the front of this. And then what's really cool is the Stampin' Dimensionals fit perfectly in that center. So I just put it on with one Stampin' Dimensional in the middle there, and just made a fun winter holiday card with no Yetis on it. So those are my 3 cards this evening. I am so glad that you guys stuck it out with me tonight. It was kind of a long one with all that coloring, but I hope that you enjoyed this watercolor technique, and I hope that I will see you again on Tuesday. Tuesday night is going to be Stamp With Me Tuesday, and we are going to be doing mystery stamping this week. So I hope you'll join me Tuesday night for a little bit of mystery stamping live at 8 p.m. Eastern. And other than that, have a fabulous weekend. I'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.